I want to say thank you to everybody who decided to watch this video. I want to send a special shout out to my patrons and Twitch subscribers. You guys help me make this channel better. And I want to say, enjoy the show.
Now, did Democrats sell out labor and take corporate contributions? Absolutely. So your answer to a revanchist far right that's doing even more than any previous administration on labor is to go back into history and bitch about Democrats fucking up on that issue. What we on the actual left who care about actually achieving things are doing is fighting all of these fronts simultaneously. But actually, in fact, focusing now on the main threat. I said if you were in a swing state, vote for Hillary because I wanted to keep the main threat and the main problem be those fucking neoliberals and corporatists that we do have to defeat, not galloping fascists. But you know what? It's a good business model. Outrage is a good business model.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Hey. I've been working on a lot of different shit lately, and yeah, that's been a thing that's been happening. So, how's everybody been doing? As you can actually see, this is where we get into the second part of the Rico Rents and the Joe Lewis debate. And well, to be honest with you guys, I normally plan on getting up this early on Sundays, working on art or working on streams. Most of the times I'm waking up, turning on like a motherfucking anime that I didn't, probably didn't catch, and just catching up with that. So yeah, this is what we're doing today. And by the way, if you haven't done so, if you're watching the stream on YouTube, like the stream. Yeah, no, it's one of those days, man. It is one of those days where it's like a lot of shit that I really have to do, but it's a lot of shit that I really want to catch up with. Like, it's grown up shit to do, and it's working on progression things to do. And so yeah, I'm literally like, let me get up, let me get my ass up, throw on some caffeine, um kind of like cleaned a little bit of an area that I need to clean. And yeah, I'm here. We're working on some art. And so yeah, I know this part of the stream is where we get some very interesting parts of the conversation, and I wanted to finish it all in one go, but like after 2 hours I was like, nah, I needed to take some time for myself, and I needed to do some self-care. uh, but yeah, we're here. And I dropped a short. If you haven't done so on my YouTube channel, I actually do shorts on my YouTube channel. Um, Mostly, it's like life advice, whatever you can call life advice. And I also here get this. I actually have a TikTok. Funny enough, like, man, TikTok lets you know who checks out your profile. So when you actually look and see somebody checks out your profile, you got to be like, what the fuck? But hey, who would check out my profile after I do a video talking about how fucking stupid they sound? I don't know. You know what? I think like you would actually get a lot of these people, and to be honest with you, I know I'm in a group, and conspicuously, probably that C slur is starting to come up with my name in their group. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's do I still have that? Cause I know I'm not I know I'm not a C slur to these motherfuckers. I know I'm a motherfucker to these motherfuckers. I know I'm a dirty N word to these motherfuckers. You know how people be saying that, you got to be careful. People will screen record your streams or ask you to take down a stream when you're clearly defending a abuse apologist. I wonder what the doing fun doing that can signal that. Anyway, let's get to the video and let's actually work on some art. We're working on some art today. Did my camera just freeze? Mm. Um, all right. Yeah, my camera just froze. Hold on, guys. Just working on trying to see if this camera just froze on me. All right, let's start this because I really want to work on this art. Because I've been doing it, and here's the thing about it. When it comes down to the art, I've been doing it mostly since hmm, it's not working. I wonder why it's not working. Yeah, delete it right quick. Add audio, video device. Uh, is this? All right, there we go. Transform. For some reason, it's not working. Hmm. Let me see something. Let me try to plug it into another. What's the name that I have? Give me a second, guys. Oops. Sorry about this, guys. All right, that should be better. That should get it working. All right, let's see if we can actually get this working again. Hmm. Nope, wrong camera. Let's see. All right. That should get it working. Um, hmm. I don't know why it's not working. Let's try to delete that. This is a wonderful problem with working on the stream, right? Ah, cut it out. I will cut it out. There we go. All right. So for some reason, it's just not capturing. Let me see something. Hmm. There we go. You know what? It's not working. So deactivate. Let's just get back to the regular video. All right, let's go. So I actually started on this the other day, and I'm picking up where it actually left off. So let's finish watching this video, and God, please help me. Please help me. This is gonna be interesting to say the least. Shall we go? Hold on 1 second. I just want to actually put it out there that we are live and we're streaming this. Content. I forgot to do this earlier. If you haven't done so, yeah. Um, tweet, tweet. All right. All right. So done. All right, let's go.
Where it's not the inclusion.
So you guys got to remember when a lot of this, what did he say, social positioning. So yeah, I don't have any alcohol around me. If I did at that particular time, social positioning would have been one of the ones that I would have gotten alcohol poisoning in. Also, Joe Lewis is excellent at dodgeball because he keeps dodging the same fucking question. And like I said, the only critique that I would have of Rico in this one is he try to treat these people like they're in good faith, and he tries to treat these people like they are honest about their what they're saying instead of just being, you know, dishonestly want to actually just shit on white people and shit on anybody who isn't they feel who isn't a person of color. That's generally what happens. But let's go.
and the inclusion of being white is built upon shaky foundation that's
Where did you?
only
And that's my question to you. Then, where did you get this idea that they went from "you're not white" for betraying us? No, because that's I don't understand that
that's just
they are explicitly
books.
saying you are a race traitor. Therefore, you are white, but you're a race traitor. You have betrayed us. That's
But
what
they are being portrayed because of an action, and an action of assisting a group of people that are deemed to be non-white.
that
That's the betrayal line. But there isn't a lineage of that in the United States. The lineage line isn't because that they were white. The lineage line is because of the actions that led to them assisting other groups that they deemed as non-white.
No, that is a lineage line. Again, the lineage of white people assisting black people and subsequently being punished for, or assisting non-white people, and subsequently being punished for it by their fellow white person, because for the crime of betraying their race and betraying the interests of their race. It's 1-to-1.
I think
So what Joe Lewis is trying to say that what I think he's trying to say is that whenever a white person assists a black person with trying to, expand the civil rights, make sure they're not murdered in any kind of way, it's for some reason they start to get a lineage of being black. And that's just fucking stupid. That is just so fucking stupid. When you try to say that, oh, the reason why these people get treated this way, the reason why there's lynchings of white people in the South, for especially around the civil rights era, is because they have a lineage of, of history of a social position that, dude, you're you're being stupid. You're being fucking stupid. I don't get how else to say it. You're being fucking stupid. You sound like you're trying to retrofit your conclusion that you already have to this theory that you have. My guy, I'm gonna need you to um, get more of those contradictions out the way. But let's go.
when I'm saying lineage, it's when I'm
Wait. He's about to actually explain lineage and social positioning. Oh shit. That wow. Let me be all ears. Let me put down the pen. Let me be all
it's
ears.
when I'm talking about lineage and social position. The lineage is that you share a common descendant of somebody engaging with these things. Like the lineage of social position,
The lineage of social position is that you share a common descendant. That is so motherfucking stupid. That this is what I'm talking about. All of these wannabe cornbread two people, all of these super woke motherfucking hotep motherfuckers don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. Dude, you aren't even in the ballpark of being right. You're so not right. You're not even in the ballpark of being right. Now, if you want to say that common ancestry, when we're talking about social constructs here, why the fuck are you bringing up like you're not even like that's not even scientific. It's a common predecessor, a common ancestor, but not descendant. Secondly, oh my god, why are you trying to make this into something different? This is what I'm talking about. So many of these people, they don't want to end racism. They want to use it to their advantage. But let's go.
is that if I don't, like, let me put it this way, right? Like it's somewhere in between 47 to 50% likely that you're going to adopt the same economic status as your grandparents. There are ways
But what does that have to do with racism?
that you can
It's,
shift that. There's ways to adjust that. Why is that? That's
let
because
me ask you. Let me ask you a question then on that regard, with regards to lineage. Then, is Candace Owens not black then? By that same logic, is she not black because she's assisting white conservatives to maintain white supremacy?
That is a good motherfucking question. That is a awesome motherfucking question. That is a awesome question. Because here's the thing. They've been hiding behind this whole, oh, you should listen to all black people. You should listen to all black people. But yet, when somebody pushes back against their idea, who are on the left, who's on the left, to say like, no, dog, like, this shit is crazy. You should, well, no. You're not. You're a C slur. I want to hear this answer.
She's an American descendant of slaves, and she has she has some level, like, she is ADOS, but also has, I think, it's Caribbean ties.
So he's just went back. So wait. When you disagree with these people, it's you're a traitor. You're a C slur. You're a race traitor. But when they want to use somebody in their whole, hey, I'm just this, and it works out this way. Then no. Let's go back. Let's go back to phenotype. He just listed out just phenotype. How fucking dishonest is this shit? How dishonest is this shit? When you're talking about behaviors on people on the left, these white leftists that you hate, then if anybody agrees with you, they're a fucking trash panda. But when you're talking about somebody who's actively promoting white supremacists, actively promoting the agenda of people like Ben Shapiro, people like motherfucking Charlie Kirk, motherfucking Matt Walsh. Oh no, then her skin is dark, so she must be one of us. The fuck out of here. You don't want to fucking deal with racism. You just want to have it on your terms.
I think it's because she has dual citizenship.
Yeah, but that's not my question. The U.S. you say that basically white supremacists are lynched white people because they no longer consider them white because of the action that they took. So I'm asking you, does that same thing apply to Candace Owens with regards to her blackness, but her action of assisting white supremacy?
White supremacy doesn't require white people to exist. White supremacy are certain actions, behaviors, and beliefs. It's an ideology.
That's not the answer to the question. The question was not, what did it take for white supremacists to exist? That wasn't the question, you dumb fuck. How fuck? Wow. I actually do have, I hope Rico calls him back on this one. I hope he calls him back on this one. Let's go.
And that ideology can manifest itself in any type of person.
But she's black. She's black regardless of her actions, right?
That's the contradiction. The contradiction is that if you are aiding in white supremacy, you're aiding in an ideology that if you extrapolate the ideology, you no longer exist.
But you do.
You would. You might not be first. You might not be first on the chopping block, but you can't exist as a visible black person in the face of white supremacy.
But those white people that assisted black people and were punished because of it are still white. They just are. And the people that lynched them didn't say they weren't going around saying you aren't white. They were calling you an N-word lover.
Good. I am glad that he's calling this shit out. I am so glad that he's calling this shit out. Good. Let's go. Let's keep going.
They weren't saying you aren't white. They're saying you're an N-word lover, and subsequently punished them because of it. That's you know what I mean.
Right, but again, like her. It's not that. It's no matter. Like this is the thing with because there are different types of non-white people who adopt white supremacist ideology, but the contradiction within that is, again, like if you extrapolate that to the full expression, you no longer exist. So while you might be able to like gamble for a better position within that hierarchy, there's still going to be a time where the chopping block hits to you.
But again, you're saying two things out of your mouth. You're literally saying two things out of your mouth. You're halfway saying that, oh, these white people, when they help black people, then they're part of the identity, the racial identity of, or the social positioning of what these black people experience. But then when a black person helps white supremacy, where we have documented cases of her advocating white supremacist policies, oh no, she's still black because skin color. But let's go.
It might not like it might not lead to you being first. It might lead to you being like ninth or 10th. And then something else to that, by the way, is that the point I'm trying to make here is that white people, by virtue of their existence of being white, doesn't put them at a threat of danger. The social position of being white in the United States doesn't put you by threat of danger. But what does put you at threat of danger is being associated to the idea that you would assist non-white people in their injustice claim.
So which is it? Like, is it that when you are, how do I put it? And I get he's having a conversation live, but the thing is, that's not an excuse. I'm responding to this shit live. Is he saying that when you're white, and I know part of it is he's saying that when you're white, you're not just seen as just a threat. I get it. That's something that we have to deal with racism in this world to have to do. When you're a black person, regardless of how docile or how benign you see, you are seen as a threat to a lot of people. And yeah, that's another thing that he's right about. When you are one of the good ones, eventually they will come for you. I mean, like, eventually. You may not be the first on the chopping block, but you know you got a spot reserved. When they finally get him, when they finally get all of them problematic black people, then you got a spot reserved. But in the end, what does that have to do at all with the fact that, because I know what Rico's trying to get to. Rico's trying to get to the point where a lot of these cornbread tubers and a lot of these woke activists that they claim that they think they are would still just call him a C slur. That's the thing. And because of that, you know, he wants to get the rules of the game. But these motherfuckers keep switching the rules of the game, and that's why you're having a problem. But let's go.
So it's the actions that lead to the ideas that you are no longer a part of our group because you are now assisting that person. These actions that you are doing. Where for black people, they're not going to call Candace Owens an N-word lover if she dates a black man. They'll just kill her. Like there's no.
I'm sorry. Can I hear that back again?
That person, these actions that you are doing. Where for black people, they're not going to call Candace Owens an N-word lover if she dates a black man. They'll just kill her. Like there's no, or if not kill, make her life incredibly miserable in very obvious and unobvious ways.
I
again, I'm gonna think that he misspoke. Because in the end, like, if he means that a black person won't call Candace Owens like a white man lover because she dates a white man, I'm gonna give him the credit that he may have spoke. But still in all, That's fucking dumb, dog. If you really think that somebody who's actively done has done harm to a community, that they should just accept them back just because on just other strength that they share the same phenotypic color of melanin, then one, you think that that community is incredibly forgiving or incredibly stupid. I seem to have more hope for, the black community to think that if somebody was, actively promoting our harm, that just because they dress up in kente cloth and then say, oops, I'm sorry, then like, it and start saying like, black power and where I'm part of the diaspora, I would think that they would just have a little bit more um self-preservation to not trust this person just automatically. Have a little bit more, I don't know, skepticism. Yeah, skepticism. But let's go.
It just seems like that just seems like a very pointless distinction. Like, what's the point of these distinctions that you're making? Because you tried to distinguish between white deaths and black deaths based off lineage, right? That's what you were equivocating. That's what that was the point you were trying
Calling
to
them
make.
out.
That white
Good.
death is different than black death because of lineage. But what I've done here is point out that we have a similar lineage. It doesn't. You can say that it's because they weren't attacked because they were white, but they were attacked because of their action. But I'm like, no, they were attacked because they were white because their action betrayed whiteness. They were attacked because they were white. There is a history of that. There is a lineage of that.
Let me see if I can let me ask you this. Do you think the white family was a target of discrimination and otherization by the United States government?
Depends on what white family. Depends on what white family. If we were gonna go to the turn of the century and they were Irish or Italian, yes. Depends on what white family. Oh, and let's not. And again, here, let's not talk about the elephant in the room. How there were so many people that treated Jewish people just like shit. They will call them the JN word, or they would say just horrible shit about our Jewish brothers and sisters just because of the high case of anti-Semitism. But let's continue.
No, depend. It depends, like on their class status, really.
Okay, why not their race, or because of their race?
Why not? Because this was a country built, where at the time, at least at the time, definitely for white people or people considered to be white. You get what I mean? Like that's why.
Sure.
There's nothing to
And
it.
then conversely, just to make sure we're on the same baseline, was the
And even like, dude, like, okay, I live in the Chicagoland area in the Midwest, northern Midwest area, and dude, there were, even though this area actually had prominent, and I mean prominent, you know, Polish society, history. There is actually bigotry against people from Poland. Prominent. I mean, like General Pulaski. We actually have a street named after Pulaski, and I think it was like a Fort Pulaski or some shit like that. But like, it depends on what time you're talking about. And these motherfuckers, these fucking cornbread too motherfuckers, they are so fucking ahistorical that they look at, which I granted, not everybody is smart enough to actually look at all of motherfucking history. They only pick and choose the history that they want to go after.
black family under attack by the United States government? And does the black family have a history of discrimination and otherization by virtue of them being black? Or is it something else?
Yeah, that's why they were. Which is strange to me that you're asking this, because you were saying that that wasn't the case earlier.
Good for
I'm
calling
asking
his
that
ass out.
because over time, because I'm trying, the point I'm trying to make is that over time, as you continue to go through this lineage line, if somebody is born white in the United States, that creates assumptions based upon their lineage line. Because if a white person and a black person are born in the United States,
He tried to pull it back. He tried to pull it back. He knew he was actually going into what Rico was saying. It was because they were black. And what Rico also has not given him an out on is like, well, the reason why they don't say, well, it's because of the lineage of being black and stuff like that, is because they couldn't just come out and say, we're doing this because you're black. They couldn't. They had to make a legal roundabout to actually say something about, to actually make these laws. But let's go.
you can say with a pretty close level of accuracy that that white person probably knows exactly who their grandparents were. And not only
Yeah.
knows who their grandparents were, they're still alive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can make
There's
you
a
can make
lineage associated with just by having grandparents. And for
Yeah,
Black Americans, for example, the idea of us having great grandparents that we know definitively that we can point to, I might have that as a millennial, but if I go one generation back, that might not be true for my mother. That
Wait, what? What the? You know, life expectancy change. You dumb fuck. That has nothing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Does he think that just as soon as black folks got to a certain age, they just went, you know, RIP and delete yourself? Like, oh, what? All right.
might not be true for her grandmother.
But
for
what does
white
that have to
people-
do? What does that have to do with the distinction between white death and black death? What does that have to? Because that's an entirely different discussion. I'm asking the distinction between white death and black death. You argue that it was because of lineage, but I argue that the lineage we have a similar lineage, enough so that the distinction doesn't. There is no the distinction is relevant.
There's a lineage to death, but the content of that death is important.
And the content is roughly the same. That white people were killed for being white, black people were killed for being black.
But we clearly established, I think, that that's. I still don't understand why you're, because the thing that I'm
Good morning, Icon. Good morning. This is like just some crazy shit. All right, let's go.
I'm not quite understanding why you're.
My contention is death is death. We all understand death. The reasons why we died may be different, but death is death.
Right, but the context and the content of that death, if you don't live it, might be overstated. Because if you know,
again, he probably misspoke. You can't live death. I don't. Okay, this is why I titled this part "The Brain Damage." Let's go.
For example, that black people are brutalized by police, and then you see swaths of black people who say, "I don't have experience with this black death associated with police." That might confuse you. And if you don't know that the lived experiences are different, and you only engage with black death by virtue of reading, and you don't engage with the life that comes with being next to that lineage of black death, then there's going to be things that are just going to confuse you. Like there's going to be parts of the world that make no sense.
Well, people tend to not understand that which they haven't, not understand or not be interested in understanding that which doesn't apply to them. Generally,
Right.
That's everybody.
Right. Like
But I gotta ask him, if I've never been brutalized by the police, so am I
Mhm.
less black than someone that has?
Of course not, because it's not because.
So again, like this is what I'm talking about, right? So here's the part. Here's the problem. When you see these idiots go out and say, like, you say that, well, I'm going to make this assumption that this white person really doesn't understand because they haven't experienced it. And then you give an example of a black person who also hasn't experienced it. When you ask, is the white person less likely to understand? They say yes. And then when you ask if the black person, does that mean that they can't understand it? They say yes. And when you say, well, I'm black and I've never experienced that, They say no, it's still you still black because color. If that's not a racist ass argument, I don't know what is. That's just a racist ass argument. You part of us because of skin color. All right.
And that's my point, friend. Because then if you only engage with the black experience, trying to understand black life without understanding the nuances, sorry, if you spend your entire existence trying to read and understand the history of black death and black harm and black trauma, the the inter the inter the intricacies of black life might not be something you can contextualize. So you might overstate the claim of black people and police brutalization in terms of legislation. You might overstate the claim.
So if the claim is overstated, so the fuck what? So the fuck what? If it's saying, if you're overstating the claim to actually stop it, so the fuck what? That's just a stupid argument. That is just a stupid argument. That is, well, you didn't get it exactly right. You overcorrected, so yeah, like nah, you still don't understand. Wait, what? I hopefully don't have cancer. I've seen people with cancer. I've dealt with people who had cancer, and the pain and suffering and agony they go through. Will I understand it? Hopefully not. But would I try to do things that would actually make sure that they're comfortable, make sure that they're like, yes, yes, because that is how you deal with human empathy. You don't exactly have to know the exact same pain. You just gotta know shit hurts. But let's continue.
Of the potential danger that black people face in the United States. You
But
might overstate the claim, and if you overstate the claim, that might be to the detriment of black people. Because if you overstate a claim of harm and you overstate a claim of death, you might come to poor conclusions, which might railroad legislation, it might railroad policy, and it might not make arguments as compelling. But like the thing that I like, so I'll explain.
People misunderstanding things isn't anything new or unique to anyone's race or anything. People overstating or understating something, that has nothing to do with their race. That's just a thing people do.
It's the social position that's associated with that. Because if you don't like if, for instance, like if you, because like I had an experience with one of my white friends where he didn't understand to not talk to the police.
Thank you, Icon. Thank you, Icon.
Like I got pulled over, the officer came, and then he started running his mouth talking about like, well, this is why black people are afraid of the police, and this is.
Did he just have a Dave Chappelle skit moment? Oh my God, did he just really have a Dave Chappelle skit moment? How did he have a Dave Chappelle? All right, let's go.
Why? And I'm thinking like, shut up. Like this does not involve you. And while it is true that,
oh my God, he just used the Dave Chappelle skit. He just used the Dave Chappelle skit. Oh wow. Oh wow. He just used the Dave Chappelle skit. I was walking. We were drunk as shit, and we started talking to the cops. Like the fuck. Like it's different because reasons. Noble, it's different because reasons.
The 20% needs to listen, because if they don't, they're going to find something out. The Hamptons is not a defensible position.
It's different because reasons.
Black people face a higher level to proximity to violence of police officers through traffic stops. That's not always the case. But I know that exists. I know the proximity to violence exists when I'm dealing with law enforcement. So I know there's certain things I have to do to make sure that I facilitate my life. And if somebody only is engaging with my life through the lens of my death, when they're put in those situations where they need to be supporters and advocates towards life, they might overstate the claim of death, which puts people at harm.
So wait a minute. Wait a motherfucking minute. So somebody being overprotective is actually going to lead to more harm. Just stop hanging out with overprotected white people. I'm sorry. Just stop. If you want to have some reckless ass friends, go ahead. encourage your choice to have some reckless ass friends. It's gonna be like, yeah, fuck the police. You gonna have that one, and I'm gonna say it. You gonna have that one poor white friend who motherfucking had the same experience, just in a different motherfucking zip code that you had, and be like, fuck the police. I like, yeah, sure. Let's have some of that. And let's see how that shit turn out for you. Am I saying that the motherfucking, you know, because the obviously because there are more white people in the country, the percentages are high. And I'm not saying that it's disproportionate. No, it's definitely disproportionate. But when this cat is literally trying to say that because people are socially conscious to say like, hey, cops, stop doing crazy shit. Like, they're gonna cause you to be dead more. And yeah, all of us are getting our ass whooped. And he even said it, like, he said it early in his chat. We need these allies because we're not a majority part of the people. Now, when you look at not only racial numbers, but socioeconomics, then we are a majority. Everybody, except for those rich fucks that, you know, pay the cops, write the laws, talking heads on motherfucking mainstream media. Like, dude, like, I just, God damn, this motherfucker is dumb. All right, let's go.
I just still don't see what this has to do with it has to do with race at all. Like, it's because anybody can, like, we know without a doubt, like, disproportionately non-white people experience like getting, what's the word, experiencing violence from police.
But that's also not true. That's also not true, because again, like, if we disaggregate the data, the violence is black. It's black, huge gap, everybody else when it comes to disproportionality.
That's what he just said. You are not listening. Oh my god. 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 It's like he has these talking points, and he's like, this is why these motherfuckers will never go up against a conservative. They will never, ever have a conversation with a conservative. They try to practice this shit with motherfucking black people or white leftists who don't believe every fucking thing that they do, and they sound like fucking idiots. I want Joe Lewis to take this shit and have a conversation with somebody like, I don't know, like, even like, yeah, being wrong and smug. Like, even having a conversation. No, he got blown the fuck out with having a conversation with somebody like Destiny, who is, for all intents and purposes, center left in a lot of cases, but economic policy center right. He sounds like a fucking fool. Or let's have him have a conversation with somebody like, I don't know, motherfuckers Fresh and Fit, who are actively right wingers. They will fucking destroy his ass. God damn. Like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm
Because
just
if
not.
Like, if an Asian person says black and brown, like people, like if an Asian person says people like me are a danger of police brutality just by virtue of a traffic stop, every black person will just side eye and be like, "What are you talking about?"
I mean, yeah, the
Socially center left, but economically center right. Yeah. My thing is, again, he went to the fucking oppression Olympics, and I get it, like, dude, like, and I try to express the tightrope talking points of it. Are there different types of? Are there different experiences that different, for better terms, races experience here in the United States? Yes, but when you are going back and saying like, okay, maybe we shouldn't shit on somebody who feels like they're being picked on more, and maybe like explain your position and then go into like maybe we should just stop having the cops pick on us, then this is the shit that I'm talking about. Like it's the we want to feel better than everybody because we're more oppressed shit, and not do anything about it. Like, cool, if you fail, say if your strength, if your fury comes from feeling more oppressed, cool. I'm not gonna take that from you. But what are you gonna do about it? What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Because if you're not gonna do anything about it other than saying I'm more oppressed, I'm kick back like, man, I'm sitting here waiting for the cops to motherfucking come and get my ass because I'm more pressed. It doesn't make you look motherfucking good. It looks like it's been said, it's smug and wrong. That's all it is. But let's continue.
The statistics may not bear out to that perception, but they wouldn't be
And the
wrong.
relation-
They wouldn't be wrong to say that they are still likely. They may be less likely than a black person, but that's not to say that they're not likely at all.
Right, but there's a reason why you see black people at the front end decrying about the injustice claim of police brutality, and not Asian Americans.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see anybody at the front end of anything anything that affects them more than others.
And again, depending on what era that we're talking about. Yes, I get it. Right now, black people have been running a strong first. But it was a reason why we had certain immigration acts, especially that was trying to be enforced on the West Coast. It's a reason why they're still here. The guy who's in Georgia that visited massage parlors with a gun. The reason why you have so many people who may have had illegal immigration status that work in, the sex trade. It's a reason why that shit happens. And for him to just like totally dismiss it because shit, we saw this traffic stop like this. It's belittling. It's unempathetic, and it's just fucking wrong. It's just motherfucking wrong. And the fact is, like, it's not that they don't want to work with these people. They don't want to work with anybody who's not super black or not just manually genuflex to, oh, the black conspiracy is the worst, and you got like, no, fuck no. It just sounds like you just want to be the most oppressed so you can get the most fucking points. And that shit is harmful. It is very, very harmful. It not only is harmful to the growth of your movement, it's harmful to the fact that these people who feel like they're fucking shut out, that still need that social and economic change that we all need. But you want to sit back with oppression points. Let's go.
Just how people are. It's again, with regards to going back to ableism, with regards to people in wheelchairs, I support and would be all for. I would be on the ground supporting wheelchair bound people with regards to getting ramps put in there. But they'll be the first one saying anything because that it affects them more than it affects me.
It's articulation of the injustice claim as it relates to the social position. So, like,
no, it does not have to do with the social fucking position. It's about how it affects me, how I feel about it. God damn. Like, is it so hard? Like, is it so hard for people to just say, like, yo, this shit affects me? And then because it affects me, it affects this person like me, and it affects this person like me. It is so hard for this motherfucker to think outside of social position, social position, social position, social position. He needs to social position that word up his own ass. He is disrespectful. Yeah, it's not even per capita, and yeah, skin tone correlates. But if it looks like if you look at it as economic, yeah, poor people get fucked, and not in a fun way. Although poor people do more fucking than rich people, but that's a whole different story. But they get fucked by the system.
if I'm an Asian American and I see that like I don't have a relationship with this institution the way that Black people do. So if I'm going up there and being an advocate towards Black people, I have to be able to understand all the intricacies of that injustice claim.
But what is
and if I were to
my
go up
question
there,
to you is why does that those in the intricacies? What is this? I just don't. I'm not. I want you to explain in the simplest terms why that matters in a sense, like because I
Sure.
can understand. I can understand any discrimination people Asian people face. Like I can understand Japanese internment, what we did to them during World War II. I may not have experienced it, but I can understand that just fine. That the state can crack down on basically anybody that looked Asian, and they just outright destroyed their fucking lives. And the
Sure.
generational issues that have followed since that people are still picking up the pieces all these years later. I can understand that. So can you. And the contention is that you made from the very beginning, all this from the Twitter from Twitter to here is that we can't. But we
Let
can.
me ask. Not can't. It's just that the contextualization you have to contextualize the existence that these people are in. I'll give an example.
No, what the fuck? That. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This shit is fucking stupid. Why does he like? You just refuted your own point, and then you kind of try to go to something else. It's the fact that you can't have empathy for someone else, even though, even though you're not exactly in their shoes. You can take your experience and try to correlate to what you experience to what they're saying. And like, yeah, that's a thing that can happen. It's called empathy.
Let me see where you're at on this. Right. So I'm just going to say something that is true. Black people are 12 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people in my state.
Yeah.
If I'm a Hispanic American, knowing that injustice claim, actually, let me just like I'll take you out of it. Like a Hispanic American comes up and says, Black and brown people are 12 times more likely to be incarcerated than their white counterparts. Is that a true statement?
Yeah. I don't know the statistics myself off the top of my head, but generally from what I do know, that would be true. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Right. I'll ask it again. I think you missed a part of it. Maybe it can have something. Like in New Jersey,
This motherfucker literally. Oh my god, he is literally doing the thing. Oh my god, he is literally doing the thing. He's literally doing the thing. He is about to literally just focus on black people as this super oppressed group, this super like special group that should not be included in the resolution. It should have a separate resolution other than what would be a resolution for everybody, just because black people. What? These people want to have the same bias that they claim white races have? What? No. No, nobody has ever said that on this channel at least once a week. What? No.
Black Americans are 12 times more likely to be
He's doing
incarcerated
it.
than their white counterparts. That's a statistically true statement.
Right.
If a Hispanic American goes up to a podium and says, people of color are 12 times more likely than our white counterparts in being incarcerated, is that a true statement?
Well, now you said people of color instead of black people. Why'd you do that?
Why would somebody do that?
I'm asking you. You're like, why would they?
That's my question.
In your example, you say because the statistic is black people, but then you said this person is saying people of color. They wouldn't be correct because you're like, no, this is pertaining specifically to black people. They wouldn't be correct.
Would black and brown people be correct?
As the statement?
Yeah. If Hispanic American came up, when we know it's true that black people are 12 times more likely to be incarcerated than the white counterparts, and a Hispanic American came up there and said black and brown people are 12 times was likely to be incarcerated with my counterparts. Is
Why?
that a true statement?
It's not, because he's not repeating the statistic as it is, and that's why I'm asking you, why is he suddenly saying black and brown people instead of just black people?
And that's a problem in advocacy, because
But
if you're not that, the point I'm trying to make is that that's a common problem in the leftist.
He fucking did it. He fucking did it. Oh my fucking god. He fucking did it. He fucking did it. Oh my god. Look. I don't give a fuck about. I really don't. I really don't. I don't give a fuck if somebody attached themselves to a worse statistic in order to resolve a problem that's affecting a lot of people. I don't give a fuck if they're for the resolution of the problem that is affecting everybody. I don't give a fuck. That's got to be the dumbest thing to say. That is got to be the dumbest thing to fucking say. Because all that sounds like is that just sounds like I just want to be I didn't even you just overreacting. You're overreacting. You're just overreacting. That's got to be the dumbest fucking thing to say. Let's continue.
Like leftist and liberal advocacy, when in the face of a statistic, in the face of a situation, if you have an intimate relationship in just reading about death of groups.
But this was the example you made. I'm asking you, why is this person not just saying black people? Why would he say black and brown? Why would he say black and brown?
That's my point. So like, and one of the common problems, because one of the things that I mentioned, like the reason why the tweet exists is that I don't think white liberals and leftists are as good at talking about race as they think they are. Because what happens a lot of the time, this is something that Kamala Harris does. This is something that Joe Biden does. This is something that Democrats on different levels of activity do. Is that when it comes to the face of being honest about a group of people, they overstate the claim. LGBT people aren't at danger in the United States.
Then
Trans people are in danger in the United States. And if I were to say,
wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? First of all, the fact that he's actually like doesn't, motherfucking he doesn't get the fact that if you're trying to resolve the problem for the worst affected group, it still is affecting the least affected part that may be included in that group. Secondly, you know that in the overturning of Roe versus Wade, that they were also targeting gay marriage. It's not that they want to actually just like, oh, once we finish with trans people, then we're just gonna leave it alone. No, that is. They're trying to pick a battle and trying to pick off the most marginalized group first, and then they can have strength to build up momentum to pick off another group, and then another group, and then another group. You don't fucking get. Oh my god. If you haven't done so, please, with everything holy, like the stream, because this is going to give me an aneurysm. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Wow, this is stupid. This is very stupid. Because we have instances where not just trans people have been discriminated against. The motherfucking I guess the Log Cabin Republicans were denied seats in the Republican National Convention because gay people bad. Yeah, exactly. I understand why like, Rico was smoking like cigarettes after cigarettes after cigarettes. Let's go.
already say LGBT people are being targeted in the public school system. That is dishonest. If I say LGBT
In the Florida law, you couldn't even mention if you had a husband or a wife if they were part of your same gender. What the hell is he talking about? If they were in the same gender, you couldn't mention inside of the Florida "Don't Say Gay" law. It is literally It is literally called the "Don't Say Gay" law.
LGBT people are targeted through anti-LGBT legislation, that is dishonest because it's not true. But
yeah, no, I know that. But the issue then is less about race and more about people just either overstating a claim by.
I'm upset, and this is not upset, but I'm disappointed that Rico missed this because Joe just blatantly lied. But I know why he missed it because Joe is trying to jump from topic to topic to topic to topic to topic. I have the benefit of, after the fact, responding to it. But yeah, no, Joe Lewis is just jumping from topic to topic to topic to topic to topic. All in this whole shotgun approach to say like, oh no, what I'm saying is actually right because reasons.
Adding on black and brown people, or saying all LGBT people when it's really just trans people. You know what I mean? Some people do it, some people don't. That's
right,
not
this is a common occurrence. This is a common occurrence in the modern zeitgeist, the conversation.
That has absolutely nothing to do with race. That's just a thing people sometimes do. Some people will, to further their point or to really induce a panic or whatever the motivation may be, will overstate a claim. That's less an issue of white people or anyone, any specific demographic just being bad at it. It's just a thing that people do.
The thing that people does, right? But that's a confusing thing to do.
No, it's only confusing if you want to limit it to a specific group to show how oppressed this one group is versus the fact that you don't want to include everybody that may be affected with the struggle. It's only confusing to somebody like you who want to just say, and this is the problem that we have with a lot of these motherfuckers, right? And I'll say it. Recently watching the last like Demon Mama videos with the conversations he was having with Shark and Soul Bunny and like the couples review of the shit, and it was just like they do it in other places too. For instance, when Native Americans say don't talk about land back in a way that tries to use it to, excuse motherfucking retributive justice in places in Africa, they get mad because they're just trying to use their talking points and try to equate it to what they really want to use. It's obfuscation of different points. Yeah. No, because they're just targeting trans people because no, they're not. They don't like any, like, fuck. Oh my god, who was that was just saying that? Like, that's just the hot button issue right now. It's so much other shit that they're targeting, that they're trying to get to, and you're just falling for, well, it's just this one battle. Let's go.
Where if you are, for example, Joe Biden, and you're talking about ways to advance equity and opportunity for Black Americans, why are you talking about other groups of people if you're talking about Black Americans?
And there it goes. This is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is. It's the fuck those other people. What's in it for Black folks? That's all this comes down to. Fuck those other people. What's in it for Black folks? And if you want to be like that, just say that bullshit. Like, it's okay. You can have that conversation. It won't make you look too particularly hot on the left, but you can just say that shit. Let's start. So Money did this with Demon Mama, yeah, and said the land back was started by, yeah, exactly what I just said. But let's go.
So in my eyes, if you're talking about Black Americans,
but that's
Black and
because
brown should not exist in your argument. The
yeah.
argument should be about Black. And even
It's not as if Black and brown Americans don't face similar situations. If you're going to do a systemic treating of shit, it's going to affect everybody. I know the whole universal things. And look. I'm gonna state this. So, and this is not the first time I want to say it. Here, come closer. Let's go to me. These will be the type of people that will be against my quote unquote recovery for Black people. What you? I know you're saying like Crimson. What do you mean you're recovering from Black people? I have a simple plan, pretty simple, to have an economic recovery for Black people. How about we do, I don't know, Medicare for all with a mental health component? What? I know, but it's not just for Black people. How about we do a Medicare for all with a mental health component? What point number one? Fuck, I probably lost mostly all of these other people. How about we do a why don't we do a I don't know, if you live in your home that's being rented, you automatically own it and the government pays the owner the value of the home. Instead of having people constantly rent and not build equity anywhere. Say, if you live in a home and you rent, how about that? And it's an addendum to rule number 2. If you're living in a home and you live in the home, you get, I don't know, 50 grand, 100 grand to make all improvements up to code and standard. And whatever you don't have, whatever you don't use, motherfucking, you can actually just motherfucking put that into not buying a different home, but improvements in, fucking paying off utilities, buying furniture, even, making even additions to your home. You get, as long as you're living in that home, you actually get a motherfucking stipend from the government to do improvements, to buy to pay off utilities, to motherfucking buy appliances. That no matter what. And finally, let's after all that shit is done, let's give it just probably $500 to $1,000 of UBI. And these are the motherfuckers that are like, but it don't help just Black people. So the fuck what? It helps everybody. They would have an issue with that because they have a need to feel fucking special. Instead of actually solving the issue, they would have a fucking need to feel special. I'm sorry. I went on a little rant there. Here, you said it before. This is why they don't talk about what the Black Panthers did to help all the poor kids in the U.S. Exactly, they don't. Yes, when they think free lunch, what do they think free lunch come from? All power to the people, not just these people or those people. Woke tips. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's get back to it.
In certain press briefings, just as recently as I want to say like last year, if like not last year, excuse me, back in February, you had a situation where even when Joe Biden is bringing something up about equity towards Black Americans, he includes Black and brown multiple times in his statement. And so it's like, okay, are Black and like if you don't know and you don't have a racialized understanding, that can confuse people.
Then the argument is less about a racialized understanding and more need to state things more accurately. to be more specific in your statement. Because as it is, people tend to go with the most inclusive, broad statements that they can, and that's just, you can just say that that's wrong. It has nothing to do with him being white. It has nothing to do with anyone being Hispanic. It doesn't. It's just, you're wrong to say that it's black and brown when what you really mean is black people experience this at this rate, Hispanic people experience this at this rate. And then if you want to get even more specific, you can break it down from like Black Caribbeans to Hispanic Caribbeans, this, that, and the third. Like if you're going to Asians, you go
Like, when I say that this motherfucker sounds like how he just say, let's focus on the black people. Like, and I say they woke hoteps. Like, this is no different from the shit that Umar Johnson says. Includes all black people and just say, oh no, the African diaspora. Which really just means that the dark-skinned monolith. That shit is just... Do you want to help out poor people or not? Seriously, do you want to help out poor people or not? This, and I've said it before, this is what leads to the whole idea. It leads to the irrational fear that if black people get power, all black people get power, but it's going to lead to revenge policies. It leads to that. And I don't understand why they don't see this bullshit. Even if it's a front, even if it's like fucking lie put up that says like, hey, we need all poor people to actually experience this, even if it's this fucking honest. But at least you have the opportunity to just cloak your true intentions behind a group that's fucking bigger than just you. But they can't do that. They can't fucking do that. They're so fucking... Oh, it's just that have to be me. Just have to be me. Just have to be me. And that's not what leftism is. It's a collectivism. Not me. We. And then they will start throwing out people who are problematic to what they really want. Oh, God. Fuck.
So like fucking Laotians, like if you want to be specific, like if you're asking for more specific language rather than
here, the way they're targeting trans people is how they targeted black people 50 years ago. Exactly. What is a white person and what is a black person? Where is white land? Where is black land? The problem is when Dr. Umar argues with the red pill, it makes him look reasonable. Hot take. Destiny understands that race more than that. That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take at all. That's not a hot take at all. And I think Destiny says some really, really, racist and insensitive racial shit. I really do. I fucking really do. I think a lot of his takes are from not just because he's motherfucking he's quote unquote white, however you want to fucking call that, is because he has money. A lot of his fucked up takes are because he has money and he wants to secure that shit. But yeah, and I'm not a Destiny fan. I think that he's a petulant little child, and a lot of times I think that his policies, when he's upset and emotional, he goes from I need to be right to be motherfucking I need to win. And this is not a bad thing in a lot of cases, but he actually feels shit really, really deeply. Like when he gets friends with somebody, and even though he thinks that they're going to use him to hurt his feelings later, he still will try to be friends. So like, no. And I've actually made this public. I think that motherfucker is a spiteful little motherfucking piece of shit at a lot of times. But when it comes to like, okay, let's make sure that we have peace and not just the absence of violence, but peace and prosperity for a lot of people, I tend to think that his policy is a little bit more gracious. But yeah, no. I I'd make him qualify the categories and names that the metrics that would qualify a person. They're not going to qualify a person because as soon as somebody like Joe Lewis actually says, "Whoa, this person," and then you like, "Well, this particular person," no, just black people. Not really a fan of Destiny's politics, but I'll die on this hill. Dumb. Somebody gives this fool a sucker. Paul Mooney the complexion for the protection of the collection.
Inclusive language, broadly inclusive language. That's an entirely separate argument.
But no, that's an argument that's tied to my point. Because if you spend your time only having relationships with these groups in the lens of death, trauma, and harm, you might create poor conclusions and poor arguments when you're trying to articulate that injustice claim. For instance, for reparations.
But Candace Owens comes out and says something wrong all the time about black people, Hispanic people, this, that, and the third, all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you said that she would be better suited to speak on these things than a white person. A white person can absolutely get it right. And
he did say that. He fucking did say that. He did say that. Now he's gonna try to walk it back. He did say that. That's what he said. That was a comment that he said. He said he would listen to Candace Owens over race issues rather than a white person.
And white leftists get it right way more often than Candace Owens does.
But it's not about being right. It's about having a compelling argument that you can point to. That's what makes Candace Owens dangerous. She's dangerous because she's able to, no different than Clarence Thomas. They are able to use the social position of blackness.
How? Fucking how? They don't use their social position. They use the fact that their melatonin is a specific type of melatonin. I don't. Rico, when you watch this shit back, I applaud you, my motherfucking brother, because I would have called him on his shit right then and there. I would have said, "Fuck you! Why are you lying?" They're using it as a shield because they're using their blackness, the skin color, because people aren't looking at Candace Owens' social positioning. They're not looking at Clarence Thomas' social positioning, that he's a Supreme Court justice. No, they see a black person. Somebody has skin that's darker than mine. Sit back and say, "Hey, black people don't need this," or "Black people are this, black people are that." They're not looking at their house. They're not looking at their motherfucking bank account. They're not looking at their statement of ownership. They're looking at their skin. And for you, Joe Lewis, to be so smart, and come to this dumb fucking conclusion, it's either that you're fucking dumb or dishonest. I tend to think that you're just being dishonest. I know you shouldn't attribute to malice what can easily be contributed to stupidity. But the fact that you went back and forth on this, I tend to think that you're being a little bit dishonest. Oh, God. I'm thirsty and I'm hot. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I had to give me some water. I I just don't know. I just don't know. Let's go.
As a cudgel to advocate for aspiration at the expense of Black people. So Clarence Thomas can point to affirmative action and say, I only got in here because of affirmative action. And because people perceived me to be in this institution because of affirmative action, I received poor consequence. I shouldn't feel the need to lack of belonging.
Then that's what
They still was looking at his race, dog. They still was looking at his race. Oh my God, they were still looking at it. Oh.
I want to ask you then, because going back, you said that it's not about being right, it's about being compelling, and you're arguing that Candace is more compelling because she's Black.
No, she's more compelling because by her living within the social position of Blackness, she's able to connect her argument.
But she wasn't. Literally, she wasn't. Her family was wealthy. It wasn't about social positioning. Her family was wealthy.
To her identity in a way that's compelling to other people. If she was only using data for her arguments, she might miss particular nuances. But because she's engaging with these institutions as a Black woman and the social position of what that means, she's able to use her experience and her life to connect to her politics. And if you only are able to connect the politics through reading and proximity, you might overstate the claim and overstate the argument.
Reading proximity. Hey, you poor white people, Hispanic people, and natives. Even though you may have lived in the same neighborhood or just one motherfucking street over, and you have actually experienced some of the same things, just not the super being Black part, you won't understand how, being over policed would affect you. You don't understand that. Even people who like maybe from Slavic or other countries that have been oppressed because they're just immigrants. Even though you may have experienced that, because you're not Black, you don't know how it is to be over policed.
When you're trying to articulate things. So you might be able to be really strong about racialized prisons.
Let's go back a second. Like, what's the difference between being right and being compelling? Because people can be compelling and be wrong the entire fucking time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the whole point and contention here is that Candace Owens is better suited to speaking on black people and Black issues, this, that, and the third, because she's Black. But she's wrong all the time. It doesn't matter if she's more compelling. She's wrong all the time.
Being compelling is living in a country where we don't treat Andrew Jackson and Adolf Hitler in the same group. We have a culture that considers that the statement that
But we're moving to that direction. And like let's be fucking honest. He's only saying Andrew Jackson. I can almost guarantee that he's not talking about the native slaughter that Andrew Jackson did. I can almost guarantee. Old Hickory. I can almost guarantee that's not that's not the phrase that he's using it for.
I love Andrew Jackson. He is one of the most influential people in American history, and you could say that in front of a group of people, and they would agree with your argument. But if I were to say that Hitler is one of the most influential people in American history, and it's good that we had Hitler,
that's not the same. That's not the same. That's not the same. If you would have said in Germany, then that's a different conversation. That is not the same. You are too stupid to make analogies. Again, is he dishonest or is he dumb? That is not the same. Oh my god. The fucking brain damage. Oh my god. Let's go.
You would not be allowed on the internet, but we have a culture where we don't treat.
Neo-Nazis say that shit all the time. They're allowed on the internet. Motherfucking Nick Fuentes is say that shit all the time, and he's allowed on the internet. Fucking Pearl just made a song on the bullshit, and she's allowed on the internet. How fucking dare you? Get out of your fucking leftist ass hug box and deal with the shit. Oh God. Get out of your fucking hug box and deal with the shit. But he won't. He won't. Like, I know this motherfucker, Joe Lewis, won't talk to somebody like me. I know because he's a fucking coward. But let's go.
Andrew Jackson on the same level as Hitler. That's compelling arguments. That's creating a culture of compelling arguments where we have
a culture of compelling arguments.
We have people who participated in genocide on our currency that we then distribute for goods and services. And then in the face of that, saying that this is wrong, we shouldn't use our currency and glorify genocidal maniacs and as exchange of goods and services. So when we wanted to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill, no one batted an eye, and people cheered when they said Harriet Tubman.
Yeah,
and if you don't understand why that's racist, that's a problem. Both actions are racist.
Wait, what? What? How? Fucking how? Fucking how? What? How? How? This man literally says that the fact that when people's like, yeah, Andrew Jackson has a fucking issue, and they went to go replace him on the $20 bill, and people were like Harriet Tubman, and there were people that was like, yeah, no, cool, that's great, and was trying to, and it's actually still in the process of doing it. It was racist. How? Fuck how? Okay, wow. Okay.
Distributing currency from Andrew Jackson is racist, and saying I'm going to replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman is also racist.
What does this have to do with?
Wait. How? Fuck. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's see something. Let's go back a little bit.
What makes Candace Owens right to speak about
is racist, and saying I'm going to replace Tubman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Give me a second. Because I have to tweet this shit. I'm sorry. Good, I had to make sure that I didn't have anything crazy on my screen. Does he do his with like? I just won't. I just don't understand that one. I just don't understand that one. So I'm looking for like how that is gonna be a resolution. I don't know. I okay.
And if you
But
don't
what is it?
understand why that's racist, that's a problem.
I
Both actions
that
are racist.
these
Distributing
are
currency from Andrew Jackson is racist, and saying I'm going to replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman is also racist.
Hello, I'm too ignorant. He's interrupting, interrupting, disrespectful, discriminatory, and dumb. I would have been called him out of his name and told him eat a bowl of cereal, a bowl of dicks with a spoon. Yeah, no.
what does this have to do with what makes Candace Owens more compelling or right to speak about black issues than a white person?
So yeah, I'm glad he brought it back. I would have fell for the bait. I would have fell for that bait. But yeah, I
The argument I'm trying to make here is that it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It matters if it's compelling, because the argument that putting
No,
Harriet
oh great. So you're a dumb fuck. You're mesmerized by shiny shit. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It just matters if it's compelling. Joe, 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 squirrel.
what makes her more compelling? What makes Candace Owens specifically more compelling? We're not arguing about right or wrong. What makes Candace Owens more compelling to speak about black when she speaks about black issues and such than a white person?
because she uses her blackness and connects it to aspiration. That's
He dropped the mask now. She uses her blackness. She uses the fact that she's black, not social class. She uses the fact that she's black. Oh, he finally dropped the fucking mask. He finally dropped the motherfucking mask. Because that's all it is. She uses the fact that she's black. Just say that, dog. Just say that. Fuck, let's continue.
the grift.
I'm
She's-
not. I'm not asking what she uses. I'm asking what makes her to you. What makes her more compelling
she does.
than a white person?
It's not. I don't think that she is compelling. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you're looking to convince a group of people in your argument and convince a group of people that this is something we ought to do, she can use her identity and her relationship of her identity and the social position that exists within that.
If he would have just said her identity as a black woman, that would have just ended. He has to keep going back to this social position, social position, social positioning. Is it like doggy style? Is it cowgirl? Is it reverse cowgirl? Is it froggy? I mean, like, can we get a rusty trombone in here? Like, what the fuck? And I'm sorry, guys. They doing some repair work, so I'm sorry about that.
And she connects that to aspiration. So I'm black and all these things happened to me and these were terrible and these were awful things, but that doesn't mean I can't do these things. That doesn't mean I can't stop and do these things. I worked really, really hard. People looked at me not because I'm black, but because of the merit that I brought to the table. And because she has the relationship of black life and is able to connect that, she's able.
Because she was black, she was able to, like, I know, like, these people actually do a lot of scripted shit, and they have to hit some magical word counter on their script. But life isn't a script, dog. Life is not a script. But let's go.
To point to something and point to nuance and complexities that you can't just wholesale debunk in real time. That's
No,
what makes
I'm
it difficult
not.
to engage.
It's called a Gish Gallop. You're familiar with it. You've been doing it. That's just called a Gish Gallop, dog. Like, wait, like, you're just now knowing what a Gish Gallop is? I'm surprised.
With her.
I'm not asking what makes her difficult to engage with. I'm not asking what makes her more compelling. I'm asking why you said that that Candace Owens is better to speak about black issues than a white person.
Right. Well, again, you asked about compelment, and that's my point. Where
Yeah,
if you're able to connect,
but it's to you. I'm asking to you.
she's
like
not
if you
compelling to me.
then would a white person be more compelling to speak about black issues than her to you?
It's going to be contextual in and what that looks like. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if you overinvest in your education about injustice with black death, black trauma, and black harm, you might overstate those claims as it relates to black life and experience.
Of
So
course,
if you're trying to be,
people can overstate claims all the time, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking. Obviously it definitely depends on the context of what the white person is saying, right? Like, because they can get it wrong they can get it wrong for sure. But like, if a white person says an objectively correct fact as it pertains to black people, they say black people are more likely to be arrested and convicted for a drug related crime than a white person. They would be objectively correct in stating that. But Candace Owens would come out and say, no, blah, 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 no, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. Would that not make the white person more compelling than Candace Owens?
No, because the reason why it makes Candace Owens more compelling is that she's able to relate it to conservative values. And one of the conservative values is the idea that your individual actions will lead to outcomes.
So it's not about her being black, it's about her being conservative? I know that's not the right thing. I understand that. But that's just the retort that he just offered. No, it's just literally because she's black. And she's saying things that conservatives like to say. Just say that. Fuck. Just say that. Don't try to make it into some, oh, well, you know, it's about a social positioning and just about, no, like, she looks black and she's saying the shit that conservatives want to hear. What's compelling is she's saying the shit that conservatives want to hear. What's motherfucking giving it extra weight is because she's black. That's the thing. That is the thing. Just say that.
And if you go through individual actions that are criminal and undesirable, then you should not be surprised if you end up in those situations. So she will use the social position that black people have, and the social position has a relationship with the criminal justice system. She'll use that as a cudgel to justify everything that she's saying. So basically what she's doing is that she's using the vulnerabilities of black people as a weapon against other black people within her arguments. And the problem is, if you only have a relationship with black death, trauma, and harm, you might run into a situation where you overstate a claim of something, and then you just reinforce her argument as you're arguing with her.
So his contention is that if you're either purposely or unpurposely hyperbolic against somebody who's also being purposefully or unpurposefully hyperbolic, then you lose the argument. Has he not heard people argue on the internet? I mean, like, has he not heard people argue on the internet? Huh? Wait, what? Okay, yeah, let's go.
Instead of saying, there's a social position that exists with criminality, and because of that social position, that leaves black people in a sensitive situation that leads them to being targets to these institutions in this way. And you have to articulate it in a way not only that is correct, but that is also compelling. Because
so what makes her compelling is because she's black, basically.
No, it's because of it's because of the social position of that existence.
I'm telling you, if I would have did a drinking game with social positioning, I would have been dead. But Rico just said it because she's black.
It's not by virtue of her blackness. There's a social position that exists by being perceived as black in the United States.
Distinction without difference. It's not because she's black, but her social position, because she's perceived as black. You said a lot of words is she's believable because she looks black. That's it. You just said a lot of words just to say that because she looks black?
What's the difference between her
Thank you.
blackness and the social position of blackness? What is the difference?
Yeah, blackness is just there's just the blackness of being a black person, but then
No, they're using her blackness to push talking points in anybody else that can. But both sides say, yeah, no. So I'm loving this question. What does her blackness mean? Let's go back just a little bit.
What is the difference?
Yeah, blackness is just there's just the blackness of being a black person, but then there is the blackness of the lineage that exists within that. So for Candace,
I mean, she's a very wealthy black woman, so she has long since lost her proximity to the average black.
Right, but she didn't inherit wealth by being in proximity to blackness.
No,
she's in proximity to whiteness, and her wealth is because of her white husband. And
yeah.
No. Oh my God! Did he just say that Candace Owens married up? He just said Candace Owens married up. Wow. Okay. He just said the reason why Candace Owens is wealthy is because her white husband. Not because she was, doing the whole real pure black shit and all this other good shit and started just like playing to an audience and like start selling out her blackness in order to get money from conservative bases, but because of her white husband.
Well, not before, but she got wealthy before her white husband.
That's not true. That's categorically not true. She's only rich because of her white husband.
She was a successful right-wing political commentator the fire couple before her announcement to be being married.
But that's not abject. But that's not abject generational wealth.
We know the contracts that the Daily Wire offers. I'm sorry, if you're offered $50 million, you're offering $50 million to Candace Owens, one of the big pushers of the Daily Wire. If you're offering it, let me correct. If you're offering $50 million to Steven Crowder for a 4-year contract, that's generational wealth, you dumb fuck. And Lord knows how much they're offering to Candace Owens. How the fuck could you say that? Whatever you may think of her fucking politics, she helped build the Daily Wire. And for you to say that she wasn't independently wealthy before she got married, go suck a dick. That's just disrespectful. That is just disrespectful. Because you married your husband, that's when you became rich. Wow. I did not think that these people would have me defend Candace Owens of all people.
Because she piggybacked along the lineage line of somebody that was significantly wealthier than her. That's the benefit of social positions. The benefit of social positions.
No, it wasn't social position that she benefited from. It was sexual. She married somebody. By your own logic, she married somebody that had money, even though she had money herself. Like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? I don't know. Wow, this is dumb.
Positions for a black woman in the United States is that if you marry up, and this is dangerously complicated rhetoric, by the way.
But she's not. We're not talking about generational wealth in this specific instance. We're talking about her proximity to the average black experience that she's long since lost touch with.
She's long since lost touch with due to the steps that she made to be in proximity to whiteness, insofar as even marrying a rich white man. She didn't go out and do a rich black man. Conservative grip and marry.
So it's not about her dating marrying a black person. And again, you get this anti-misogynistic shit. not misogynistic, anti-miscegenation shit right here. This is some anti-miscegenation shit. Like, okay, let's go. She didn't marry a rich black man. She went for a rich white man. Yeah.
Asian man, she went out and married a rich white man, which gives her a different relationship to the lineage line, because now her lineage line is tethered to the lineage line of her spouse.
Like, but she isn't.
Like, his whole thing about lineage lines and shit like that, he's just talking about bloodlines. He's doing blood quantum shit. Lineage lines, and because of your blood, one drop rule, one this, like, literally, he's just doing blood quantum shit.
How can she be compelling if she's more at this point, especially more connected to whiteness and white generational wealth than she is to blackness and black generational anything? How could she be more compelling? She's not, like, because your argument is that she's more compelling because of her proximity to black social standing and whatnot, but she's not, and she hasn't been for a long time.
It's not. So how could she's not, because she's not trying to point to things like socialism, Marxism, Marxist-Leninism, and different expressions of black nationalism. She's trying to point to meritocracy, individuality, and what we believe is like conservative American values. So in the vein of the group that she is trying to convince, her argument is compelling. But if she were to use the same argument and try to connect it to socialism, it would no longer make sense. So if you are trying to engage with her and your only relationship with these institutions is these conversations about death, life, and harm, the intricacies of life, there's an existence of black life that will lead to capitalism. But there's also an existence of black life that will lead to socialism.
So is he what he's saying now is that, and this is going to be very, very simplistic from what he's trying to say, but he's just saying that because she's black, she's tending to, I don't know, I guess that people expect her to be a socialist because she's black, because blackness equals socialism, but she's doing conservatism and meritocracy. So because she's doing conservatism and meritocracy, she's more appealing. But it kind of asks the question, as Rico asks, to her audience, why is it more compelling that she's actually saying it? It's because she's black. People look at a black woman saying that, hey, I believe in conservative values like you do. So listen to me. Because that's what it really is. And like he doesn't want to say that because it again destroys his point. But let's go.
And the differences of how black people get to those conclusions is important. And if you're only in proximity to that by virtue of reading about these things, you might miss those subtleties. Like, one of the things that's like pretty heavy misinformation is that the Black Panther Party, in terms of Bobby Seale and Huey Newton, especially Bobby Seale, is that, and Elaine Brown, is that they were socialists. That's not true. They were a Marxist-Leninist movement.
Well, we actually have it now. Distinction that Marxist-Leninists aren't socialists. Yay! I'm sure some tankies want to have a conversation with you about that, but he's actually saying it. Marxist-Leninists aren't socialists. I don't think that's the flex that you think it is, dog. I don't think that's the flex that you think it is. When you say Marxist-Leninists aren't socialists. But go ahead, King. Go ahead, King.
And if you are
I'm right here, Rico. I'm right here with you, man. I am right here with you. By the way, if you haven't done so, like the stream. Please like the stream. Like the stream.
poor about talking about the black existence, you might come to a poor conclusion that they were socialist. They were not socialists. They were categorically Marxist-Leninists.
But
And if you
listen,
don't understand the nuances of that existence, you might come to poor conclusions when you articulate your arguments.
but white people,
For again,
I would say a poor white person has a much closer to proximity, which a lot of white leftists are. Poor white people have a much closer proximity to the black social standing than a wealthy black woman like Candace Owens. So why is it that a white leftist is less suited to speak on these issues than Candace Owens? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why is it? Why, in the simplest reason, because you say there's a distinction. It's not because she's black, but it's because her proximity to black social standing. But she has no proximity to black social standing.
She does, because you can't, like, she can get a PhD, but she's still an NIGGER. Like,
So yes, blackness means because tan. I'd rather be an NIGGA so we can get drunk and smoke weed all day. It don't matter if you love me, baby. You need a thug in your life, cause busters ain't loving you right. I'd rather be Okay, no more Pac, no more Pac. As a matter of fact, they actually had a break in the Pac case recently. That shit is awesome. All right, let's go.
and that's the difference, where it doesn't matter.
So it's because she's black.
No, it's because there's a reason why you can look at Candace in the face of a PhD.
It's because she's black. No. It's because you can look at Candace.
And still call her the N-word. There's a reason why that's so powerful. There's a reason why if black people move up the social ladder, you will always get reminded that you are a member of that group. There is a visual component to that. And the visual
I wonder what the visual component is. I wonder what the visual component is. Please. God damn it. All right, let's go.
component points to something.
It's because she's black is what you're saying. It's because she's black. That's the qualifier.
No, but the problem is when people hear it's just because she's black, they will come to poor essentialist conclusions and not understand that, just by being black.
But that's what you're arguing in a lot of words, but that's what you're arguing.
You inherit social positions. If I am like, does it look like I'm a transracial? Like, let me ask you this.
She may have inherited black social standing, but
yeah. How do you inherit black social standing?
But she's long since moved. She's long since separated herself from the black social standing she might have grew up with or born into, and just the average black person. She's long since separated herself from that. But your argument is that she's still more compelling. Again, what you're saying is because she's black.
No. I'm saying that because she has a relationship with black life and black existence, she's able.
The relationship that she's long since separated herself from. Her motherfucking husband owned Parlor. What the fuck? I own this rinky-dink YouTube channel, and I don't even own that shit. YouTube is allowing me. Okay, Noble. That's fine. I'm gonna see this shit through. I have 40 more minutes of this shit. All right, let's go.
Able to use that within her arguments in a way that is compelling. And if you only engage with these things by being an outside observer and being in proximity as these things, you're going to miss certain nuances. For example, Blair White is trans. I am cis. So any type of poor analysis that I have to a trans existence, Blair White can weaponize that and say, see, this is why there's problems, because they don't even know what we even go through.
You're making the same fucking argument that people are using their identity as a shield. Literally, you dumb fuck. Yes, there are gonna be people that's gonna disingenuously say, "Oh, because you're not exactly part of this group, you don't fucking understand." all because you don't exactly know my pain, you don't understand, it's disingenuous. Literally, it is. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. And oh god, this is gonna give me cancel. This is gonna give me cancel. And I'm putting this main screen for this. If you're engaging someone because they share your identity, not because they're right, not because they're helpful, but just because you're engaging with somebody because they share your identity, then you're doing it wrong. You're fucking doing it wrong. If you believe that somebody is right because they have the same identity you have, then that's fucked up. That means you're mentally lazy, and it means that you're not fucking curious. It's fucking wrong. But let's get back to it.
But
Like
anybody,
they don't know anything about like the reason why detransitioners are so powerful is because detransitioners point to a existence and life of trans people that's nuanced and complicated. And cis folks use that as a weapon against trans people. And trans people know that this exists. They
Okay, just somebody said something as part of the group they represent. They're not a monolith. They're not the president of the trans people, or the president of the black people, or the president of the Hispanic people, or the president of the fucking native people, or the president of the Latino people. They're not the president. They don't speak as a monolith. Oh my god. Fuck. Let's go.
You don't have to go to a trans person and know that like detransitioners are being used as a cudgel against other trans folks. But if you only have relationships with trauma and harm, you might overstate the claim when you're trying to articulate your points and arguments.
But we can all understand each other's context, the full nuance and content and context around it. Everyone can, just as easy as we can overstate or understate something. And like that's just a thing people can and do.
Right.
But my question is, what does that? Is the question I've asked you multiple times now, and I want to ask one last because we're almost at 2 hours. I want to ask one. I want to ask one just one last time in the clearest, simplest terms, and with the knowledge, with the foundational knowledge that we both understand the full context and nuances of blackness, black identity, black history, such and such. Why is it that Candace Owens is more compelling? My argument, the argument that I believe that you're making, is that it's because she's black. But you keep saying it's not. That's not the case. It's not because she's black. It's because of her proximity to blackness and the black experience. But that's a distinction without a difference. She is black. That's what I'm telling you. What you've been arguing this whole time is that it's because she's black, and that a white person can't understand to that degree because they're not black. But my argument has been that we can understand. We absolutely can. Like the white people absolutely can understand the nuances and the context surrounding it, and can be better suited to speak on black issues, and especially someone like Candace Owens. So I want you to just, in simple terms, tell me why you think Candace Owens is more compelling.
I don't believe Candace Owens is more compelling.
I will never,
ever
you just
say
said
that she's more compelling. The reason why I'm talking about compelling is within the ideology that she exists in. That's in the context. If I were to ever to make the claim that Candace Owens is more compelling, she's more compelling in the context of being a conservative, talking about conservatism.
Why?
Because when she expands outside of conservatism, her arguments no longer make sense, and they no longer.
Why? Why is she more compelling? Why? Why is she more compelling to conservatives? You don't want to answer that question. Stop with the bullshit. Stop dodging. I mean, like, damn, he dodges better than fucking Gohan. Dodge!
That being said, one of the things that frustrates me about race in the United States is that we attach it to skin tone. And that's just a default because we're really poor about talking about race. When in reality, race is lineage. It's a closer tie to lineage. It's not even a closer tie. It is lineage. And it's lineage.
I never heard of the rich race. I'm sorry, and the poor race. Wait, what? Wait, what? The rich race. Okay. Cool beans.
based on certain characteristics. It's by our perception of being perceived as being a member of sub-Saharan Africa. For Hispanics, it's a shared language. For Asian Americans, it's a shared part of living on the side of the earth. And when
That's culture. That's culture. And he just did a hasty generalization. Like the, did he just say for Asian Americans it's about living on a specific side of the earth? I wow. Fucking wow. It's about living on the specific side of the earth. Not culture, not a general um kind of like a fusion of different, religious or social constructions. And I say religious and social constructions because again we have Taoism, we have Confucianism, which kind of laced its way through East Asian cultures. But you also have to remember that people that are in India are still in Asia. People that are in the fucking Indonesia are still in Asia. You get like you have to remember this shit. But just Asian. And Hispanic people don't all just speak Spanish. Some of them is Portuguese. Like this is the level of, you know, incuriousness of a lot of these people. They just see a group and then just assign one specific thing. Did you know, like, just going back to the whole Asian American thing, or did you know that there are two types of anime now? There's Chinese anime and Japanese anime. Like seriously, yeah, yeah, it is a difference. But fuckers like this would not understand the difference. So Bilby is a Chinese anime studio, or Bilbil. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But people like this will never understand that difference. But let's go.
when we all ended up being in America, we adopted different social positions of being associated with that lineage. For example, if I were to say that if I were to say that black people are poor, which we are, and then the black immigrant says that's not true. It's not true because that black immigrant has a different lineage line. They have a different relationship in the United States. They may be a member of the identity.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What the fuck? Now we're on personal experiences now. We're on personal experiences now. I what? I okay, okay. Wow. Fucking wow.
Identifiable group, but they only inherit that lineage. You don't see the nuances of somebody just by looking to someone, but you can, however, associate lineage that exists within that because a black immigrant was discriminated against during the civil rights movement. No different than their American descendant counterpart.
It's almost as if that people aren't looking at somebody's heritage or looking at their bank account or looking at, their specific social status. They're looking at them, looking at how they look to determine if they're part of a group or not. I know, weird, right? Weird. But let's continue.
There's a reason why Kwame Ture was an immigrant. And there's a reason,
Right.
and there's a reason why he lived longer than his contemporaries. And then when you want to engage with that, that's where these contradictions lie. Where it's like, well, how is it that
Going back to use contradictions, it's not a contradiction it contradicts what somebody thinks, and they should learn from the different evidence. But it's not just some standing contradiction where we have facts and data that goes against your fucking feeling. Oh my god! Oh my god! Let's go.
All like, if you're a black immigrant in the United States and you come to America post 2000, why is everybody that looks like me suffering? I'm doing just fine. Why can't they do what I can do? That's because your lineage is different. It's distinctly different.
Then I will just.
But you are still labeled as black. Does he not get that? That these people are still labeled as black and still are treated remarkably close to somebody who's been here for generations because of how they look? Does he not understand that bullshit? All right, let's go. Let's go. Fuck.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I'll wrap it up with this. You personally do not find Candace Owens more compelling, right?
No.
That's what you said. No. You said you would never say that she's more compelling.
No, I would.
But on that, and at the same time, she is objectively compelling on her own. Like, not this, again, how you feel about her is separate from this. She is more compelling because of her proximity to blackness, right?
And she's more compelling when she is trying to articulate her argument about black life as it relates to her political position.
Why did you have to make that distinction? Why did you have to make that distinction? Because you're trying to set yourself up for a way out of this stupid shit that you're saying. Why is she more compelling? Why is she more compelling? What gives her more, theoretical, well, fuck it. What gives her more social clout when she's saying the same conservative shit that a lot of conservatives like to hear? What gives her more clout?
Okay. And all right. So I just want to make sure I was understanding what your what your position is on this, because I do not want to mischaracterize you. I want to make sure. I want to make sure we're on the same page as to what you're saying. Yeah. So with that, with all that, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and with that being said, like, the one thing that like some folks were looking for when I was on Twitter, it's like, well, what do we do about that? And it's like, what you do about that is being in community with these people and prioritizing the research and understanding and modes of knowledge about life and existence. That's the core of like what I think we should do, is that we need to, while black death, trauma, and harm are important things, but we got to stop talking about slavery. We got to stop talking about Jim Crow.
But
like, especially white people.
Wait, what? Let me run that shit back.
Death, trauma, understanding, and Twitter, it's like, well, what do we do about that? And it's like, what you do about that is being in community with these people and prioritizing the research and understanding and modes of knowledge about life and existence. That's the core of like what I think we should do, is that we need to, while black death, trauma, and harm are important things, but we got to stop talking about slavery. We got to stop talking about Jim Crow.
But
like, especially white people, white people.
This whole conversation has been talking about black death and legacy of blackness and legacy of social position. All to say that we have to stop talking about slavery and Jim Crow. No wonder why he believes Candace Owens more than anything, because he has similar talking points. What the fuck? Wow.
My last thing, a point I want to make, or at least ask to make sure I'm understanding. White people don't, or I don't know which one, either don't or can't understand the black experience. You're saying they can't, right? That they can't understand it because is it because they're white, or because they lack proximity to black people?
There are limitations that white people have by existing as white people in the United States, and the social position and the lineage that exists within that. So if you know that limitation exists,
the limitation is what specifically? Just in simple words, like what is the limitation of white people what is that limitation?
The limitation manifests itself as if you only are experiencing this thing by observing it, you might miss certain nuances that come with existing as a member of that group.
Oh, okay. That's not specific to just black people and white people. That's specific to I work in customer service. People who don't work in customer service may not understand it. It's not a genetic or melatonin thing. It's a, hey, with our human experiences, we try to learn as much as we can about other people to, simulate or adapt with their feeling. Even though it may not be perfect, we may understand, we can probably understand it. I It's like empathy was lost with this dumb fuck. But let's go.
So if you are somebody who is
anybody can miss those nuances, but there are those who
Right.
don't. There are those who get it right. There are those who do understand the nuances and the full context surrounding these things. But are you saying that they just can't understand the nuances?
No, I keep saying that these are limitations. Limitations exist for everybody. However, when we are looking for
Are you saying that they can't do it? It's a limit of what they can do. Limitations exist for everybody. Yes, you just said if they have a limit, that means that they can't do it. Instead of saying it will be incredibly difficult, it'll be incredibly hard. No, it's a limitation.
white people to be on our side, to being able to fight with us within our injustice in the United States, white people don't have the luxury of getting it wrong. Because if they get it wrong, we suffer the consequences. We suffer the consequences of the civil rights movement. We are going to suffer the consequences of affirmative action.
But that's a separate issue. Someone getting it wrong is one thing, but the limitations is not what I'm understanding. What is the limitation? What is limiting? What specifically is limiting white people from understanding us in the full context and nuance? What is limiting us?
The institutions,
not limiting us, limiting them.
The institutions that are designed for their comfort, that are designed for never like.
So it's not because they're white. Let's just say as the institutions, I'll pick one. The education system limits their understanding because of how say Black history is taught. Is that correct?
I mean, there's like let's state the problem. Let's state the.
I mean, I'm worried. I'm glad I talked to Rico after this shit because he looks like he's having a fucking aneurysm. My man is literally closing one eye, inhaling a cigarette because it's at this point, it's the stupidity of it. Let's go.
The position, right?
I'm at
the problem, right? Like
I'm not. It's where I don't want to talk about the problem. I'm talking about the limitation. What specific is the limitation?
Yeah, if you are in a teacher education system, and the people who are teaching you are white, and the people that you are used, and the people who are used to contextualize your existence are also white, and the people who are used to praise you and to praise the existence and who help build this country are also white, and then you are in a room as a teacher full of Black kids, you might have certain limitations due to your teacher training and education. Because in the United States, white women's existence exists clearly and visibly, all the way to the teacher in the classroom, to the principal that you go down to talk to.
Okay, there's two ways that this argument can actually go. One, is he saying that white women have never been discriminated against? If he's saying that, then he's not. Oh God. It's almost finished. It's almost finished. Is he literally saying that white women have not been able to understand oppression, or is he saying that? I don't know what the fuck is he saying. My head hurts. My fucking head hurts. I literally had to stop drawing, guys, because this shit is hurting my head. All right, let's go.
Yeah, but again, that's separate, right? Like again, that's not so much as a limitation as it is just being poorly taught. You can see, you can unlearn the things you were poorly taught. You know what I mean?
But when should that intervention happen?
At
When
any
should that
point, at any
any
point, at any
point?
point in time in your life, you can unlearn the bad. I mean, that's the whole thing with a lot of white leftists who talk about about Black history and whatnot. It's a lot of them acknowledge that they were poorly taught Black history,
Sure, but then why is
and
there
so they go out of their way to learn the full context and nuances. So I don't
right?
understand how there's a limitation of any kind, because a limitation implies that that it's just you can't. Like, when you say there's a limitation, you're saying that they can't go. There's a limit to their understanding. They can't go past. But you can. There is no limit.
The limitation is an ongoing process. Like, if you didn't know trans people existed until 2020, which I would argue is where a lot of people ran into that, you're going to have a long and arduous task, as Anna Kasparian is showing in real time, of understanding the nuances of trans life.
But that's
So
not
much so,
that's the acknowledgement that you can, that there is no limit. You can just be wrong, and then you either double down on being wrong, or you can change.
the limitation is comfort, friend. The limitation is that you never had to engage with how your existence hurts other people. And in real time, we are seeing, because of
I'm not gonna speak on the Young Turks thing because I think the left really is, their reaction to the shit is incredibly wrong and incredibly you're not following exactly how I want to feel, so you're as bad as Nazis. I'm not gonna speak on that. I guess I just did. But for you to throw that out there, is that it just seems like you're trying to throw that out there as a way of dodging. You're in fucking incredibly, like, again, what's the limitation? And he kind of gave gave it away. Well, your comfort, and because you exist, you hurt other people. I don't. I I would actually say this. A lot of people are only progressive as long as it doesn't hurt them. I give you that. I give you that. Hence the conversation that we have. No, Rico. I said that I'm glad that we talked at this particular point, because at this particular point, you look like was having an aneurysm, dude. Just yeah. Let's go.
something as simple as saying we need to have a better understanding of racial history. There are
As a matter
legislations
of
all
fact,
over the country right
as
now.
a matter of fact, hold on. That is something that I'm just gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up. Give me a second. This is gonna be awesome. Yeah, let's actually do that right there. We're gonna actually, where is it at? Yep, right here. We're gonna go right here, and that deserves a fucking pinned motherfucking comment. That comment right there deserves to be pinned. Where is it at? That is a pinned comment. If ever I would want to actually have one. That is a pinned comment. Thank you. Let's go.
Branches of government that are actively trying to restrict that. And they're not restricting it because we're Black. They're not restricting it because we don't want these darkies to treat history. They say, well, Black history is American history. What's the difference between either or? And then you have Black people who articulate the claim of, you don't include Black history in your curriculum in any way that's substantive. And because you do not do that in a way that's substantive, there is harm that not only engaged with the cultural institutions, but also engaged with the government institutions. We had a politician who...
Let's go back about 20 seconds. Let's put on that caption. And let's see what the fuck they say. All right, let's go.
What's the difference between either or? And then you have black people who articulate the claim of you don't restrict any history. Never had to engage with how your existence hurts other people. And in real time, we are seeing, because of something as simple as saying, we need to have a better understanding of racial history. There are legislations all over the country right now, or branches of government, that are actively trying to restrict that. And they're not restricting it because we're black. They're not restricting it because we don't want these darkies to treat history. They say, well, Black history is American history. What's the difference between either or? And then you have black people who articulate the claim of you don't include black history in your curriculum in any way that's substantive. And because
so if you say, hey, you know what, black history is American history, and we need to work to include that in all of our history, like I don't okay, let's go.
Because you do not do that in a way that's substantive, there is harm that not only engaged with the cultural institutions, but also engaged with the government institutions. We had a politician who does not know that white supremacy exists and that white nationalists are just Americans.
That is a
Joe Louis, you dumb fuck. Tuberville was lying. He was lying. He knows white supremacy exists. He thinks, oh no, like he knows it. He was lying. He was lying. He was being dishonest, like you are here. What the fuck is your? Let's go.
A politician said.
Yeah, but that
governor.
Again,
sorry,
but none of that is immutable.
He wasn't a governor. He's a senator.
Or unchangeable, or a limit that is inherent that can't be fixed. There's nothing inherent to anyone's understanding or ability to understand these things. No limits inherent or intrinsic limit to anyone's ability to understand these things. Like
right, but if
anyone to any degree can understand these things.
Sure, but if you lived your whole life comfortable about living in your existence, and then somebody tells you that the minimum wage should be $15, you might lose your mind. Because you're saying,
which is the case.
So are we going to people who are wealthy? Or is it that they... Wait, what? You're telling me right now there are white people that don't understand that their wage needs to be at $15 an hour. See, this unironically exposes what these motherfuckers think. He is actually saying it. If you white, you live comfortably. That's bigoted. That's racist, dude. Again, these are the motherfuckers that forget about the poor people that live in motherfucking horrid ass neighborhoods, places where the Rust Belt has been rusted out, or places where it's just poor fucking towns in cities. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. And you know what, Rico? Here's the thing. I worked in customer service in a call center for 13 years. The reason why I can catch this bullshit is because I have to catch the bullshit. So I'm not shitting on you that much, dog. I literally had to go through the fire with that. But people like Joe Louis knows that. They're used to just spitting out shit on a consistent basis and having their audience nod their head and agree with them. The fact that you're calling it back and you're saying like, no, I'm not distracted by this. I'm not distracted by this. Let's bring it back to here. Is actually a good thing, and I will give you credit for that, especially with a lot of these talks that you're having.
We discussed this before. There are plenty of people who like where they're at, who the system worked for them. So as far as they're concerned, anyone trying to change it is either trying to give themselves a leg up at their expense, or trying to break the system because they're just naive or stupid, or whatever the motivation may be. But that, again, none of this is like a limit or inherent or intrinsic or anything like that.
But these especially, man, these are limitations. And my point is, again, if you know these limitations exist, you have to make sure you're engaging with modes of knowledge that are speaking to the life and existence there. And a core of my argument, and a part of it that wasn't mentioned in the tweet, is that there's an over prioritization of death, trauma, and harm, when there should be a prioritization, at least in this current state, of life and existence. There are well-intentioned white leftists like Vosh who are against reparations.
Oh, he's called Voldemort. He's called Voldemort.
There are well-intentioned leftists who will fight tooth and nail and be class reductionists, like Mike from PA. There are leftists and liberal, well-intentioned folks who are vividly against things like CRT.
But again, which is the big point. It's a big point here. It's like, that's the argument is they get it wrong. But what does that have to do with them being white? They can get it because there are black people who are against reparations. There are black people who are against CRT. There are black people who are against all those things.
But last time I checked, the entire Senate's white, save a handful of folks. Last time.
It's just fucking going back to skin tone. That's all it is.
I checked, Congress is disproportionately white, save a handful of folks. Last time I checked, those who make up the very boards that draft school policy are majority white. Last time I checked, that we don't have the type of substantive representation where white people are allowed to get these things wrong. That does not exist.
Mind you, this is from the crowd. This is voting doesn't actually help. And maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm wrong with this. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah, sure.
So, because if I'm trying to appeal to my senators about Black life and about the protection of Black life, I'm appealing to an predominantly white institution. Excuse me.
But there are many white people. There are many white people who support reparations, CRT, this, that, and the
categorically right. But again, why isn't reparations on the board as a matter of substantive policy? Why do we have to continue to research and create committees on researching reparations? Why hasn't there been a disaggregation?
Because rich people don't want it. I have that answer, because rich people don't want it. I have that answer because motherfucking the US on things that have more beneficial to poor people versus rich people, it is almost as if we have an oligarch, not a representative democracy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck. Oh my God. He's just as fucking dumb and dishonest. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is just as dumb and dishonest. All right.
Of the census, so that we can properly identify Black Americans. So
because
we know
for the same reasons, at the same time as there are people who support all those things, there are people who don't,
and they're white. Like, that's my point.
But there are black people. There are black people who feel the same.
They're not against the they are not the ones. When I'm appealing to Joe Biden for reparations, he's going to have to go back to Congress, and if Congress,
they're all white. Well, there are some black people. Well, no, well, it's just the white people. Like, okay, fuck, this dude is stupid.
Is against that, he has to be able to make the claim of what exists for Black people, what the life is for Black people, and why this is a good policy for redress. And instead of when the rubber hits the road of articulating the injustice claim for groups, politicians time and time again get it wrong, not only on the lines of race of black people, but trans people, the
I
disabled,
mean, but yeah,
etc.
people get this shit wrong all the time. But it has
We're in the
nothing.
same, like, we're in a legislation that's like the Democrat Party, as an example, says we care about trans people. So then why is Joe Biden creating guidelines that can categorically discriminate against trans people by virtue of them being trans? Why is it that in Democrat states right now there are limitations to their outing laws right now?
There are a lot of reasons.
Again, the scary part is that people like FD and Soul Bunny are actually worse. Yeah. Fuck. Like, I get that the motherfucking system is fucked up, and my whole thing is like, why don't we, I don't know, vote for your socialist fucking dog catcher, your socialist committee people. Like, why don't we? And I'm gonna actually cover it because, like, I think, like, I saw a video that made a good fucking point recently from Boy the Fifth Column. It's you get these people that want violent revolutions, that want things to change like that, things that have happened over the course of decades and centuries to change like that, and it's just like, that's not how this works. All right, Icon. All right, we about to wrap it up anyway.
Reasons for all of this, and we do not
comfort.
have time to go in. We don't. It's not simply that. But even then, it's, as I've said.
So I get, and you know what? Here's the thing. If you're coming from a place, and this is here that human empathy works. If you're coming from the place to think that, the only reason why people don't change anything is because they're comfortable, even though I know it's hurting me, I'm comfortable with it, and they're making out high on the hog. Like, he's not exactly made the dots to connect, oh, being white means being rich. No, he hasn't exactly made that dot. But when you think that because you're white, you get some kind of pass. Because you're a male, you get some kind of pass. Because you're cis and straight, then you have life on easy mode. That's not how that works. Yes, dude, like, your pain is valid. And again, this is going on that empathy. But people don't keep the system because they're living high off the hog. And yes, it's some of the comfortability. It's the comfortability of knowing, I know how much this hurts me. If it changes, it may actually hurt more. That's where a lot of people are. That's why a lot of laws don't change. It's not that people are malicious, like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep black people and people of the LGBTQ community motherfucking tied down because, haha, I get to be comfortable. No, they're scared too. Let's go.
For every white person you'll find, say, against reparations, you'll find some that are for it. For every white person you'll find for reparations, you'll find a black person against it. You know what I mean? It's just, these aren't necessarily inherent to their whiteness or blackness. It's just certain people's belief systems that they developed. It come from a lot of reasons. That, like, just there are white people who buy into the system. There are black people that buy into the system, and completely.
It's the social position that exists with that.
Fuck with this social position bullshit. Oh my god. Okay.
Social position of being white in the United States, there is a guarantee of comfort. You are guaranteed to be comfortable.
See, he actually said it. He actually says it. He thinks because you're white, you're going to automatically be comfortable. He actually said it. No going around it. He thinks because you're white, that means you're going to be comfortable. That's it. That's where it fucking is. He thinks because you're white, you're going to be comfortable. Fuck.
But you're guaranteed that if you go outside, and the guarantee is a contradiction. I'm lying. What is the assumption?
It's like, is that his Pee Wee Herman word? Contradiction? Yeah. As long as social position, yeah. Like, fuck. All right, fuck.
There's contradictions that exist within that, and when you have
brother. There ain't no guarantees of nothing in this country.
exactly. But do you think white people? Do you think that white? I'm not trying to make it seem like white people are walking around believing that I am guaranteed this thing. But you can make a general assumption that if you are white and you're just going out to, if you have a problem, right, and you need to go to a police officer, you have a relationship because of your social position that you can go to that officer and talk to him about that problem, and you won't get killed.
No, that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee. Why do you think? Oh God. Oh God.
I mean,
You won't get arrested. And even if you were to, that arresting and that injustice, you can appeal to the institution towards that injustice if that were to happen. That's part of the existence.
But there are a lot of black people, myself included, who are part of that as well. Like, I've called the cops myself on numerous occasions, and I've had no issues with them whatsoever. They've been very helpful, and I am a fucking giant black tatted up black dude, and no one. I've been pulled over on too many occasions. I've had too many issues with, again, all the fault of my own. But I've never had an issue with the police, so there's nothing inherent in our skin color that will determine how things is going to go.
There's nuance in your existence, and there's nuance in your existence as being perceived as a black person. As example, right? Like, I'm 5'8", right? I'm 5'8". On a good week, I'm 230. I'm 235. On a bad week, I'm 250. I'm not perceived as a threat the same way as my one friend who is 7 foot tall and jacked and is black.
No, that's
not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
you still can be perceived as a threat. You still can be perceived as a threat. Oh my God, he has been making this whole point that because he's black, he perceived as a threat. Now he said, well, because of this, like, oh my God. I'm hungry. That's what I'm getting hangry.
I'm not perceived as a threat, but he would be. There's a vulnerability that exists by him existing in a room. That vulnerability is nuanced and complicated because just by virtue of being black and walking somewhere where you're not supposed to, you might get the police called on you. That's a unique part of the black experience and existence that white people sometimes.
There was a kid. He looked like a kid. He was small and scrawny that rung on a fucking wrong doorbell and he got shot in the head. That was smaller than you dumb fuck. And he was perceived as a threat. How fucking dare you to try to use certain things as a fucking way to win an argument? Again, it's not about being right, it's about being convincing. This is a dirty, dumb fucking conversation. Because all Joe Louis wants to do is sit back and say, well, social position and contradiction. Oh my God. It's a fucking dishonest. Like, fuck. Okay. All right, let's go.
Won't understand and are only in proximity to that. Unless you have sometimes black people in your family. And even then you have black people in their own family, like mine, who just did a culture of gaslighting. Like, my family is predominantly white. And I'm saying predominantly white. My sister's Puerto Rican. Everyone else is Irish and German. And when I got pulled over and detained, my mom thought I did something wrong. And when I told her I fit a description for a traffic offense and I was detained at shotgun, she thought I was lying. And then when the rubber hit the road.
Wait, could he be over exaggerating this? I'm not taking away from him, but could he be over exaggerating it? May he be over exaggerating it at shotgun? Maybe like, no, this is stupid. You're just trying to throw out points to win a fucking argument. At first, you just said that you didn't seem threatening. Now, because you fit a description, you are? The fuck out of here.
When I went to my court date, she thought I was just going to play Yu-Gi-Oh! She never believed that I was pulled over and detained until I slammed the ticket in front of her, and I slammed like, you got to pay this. You thought I was lying from front to back, and then and what she said to me is that doesn't happen to people. That's what she said to me. That is a part of existence that's nuanced and complicated.
So is this just mommy issues? Is this just mommy issues? Fuck, this is just mommy issues. Oh my God, this is just mommy issues. You can't understand because mommy issues. Oh wow. I don't want to throw it away that bad, but okay, let's go.
And it's nuanced because Black people, by virtue of their social position, have vulnerabilities, and you have to connect how those vulnerabilities relate to Black life and existence. That's my point, man.
I get you. And in which case, it has been 2 hours, so I want to give the floor to the audience, give everybody a chance to ask a question. I want to give everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been 2 hours and 3 minutes. In other words, it's 12:20
Damn, has
right
it?
now. Yeah, we've been talking a while, brother.
Yeah. And listen, man, like I want to like this.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking hungry, and it's almost what time? Damn, it's almost 12. Wow. Okay, let's give it a little bit of time. We're okay. Let's go.
Kind of preface something in that, like, life is complicated. Like, life is complicated. We don't have all the answers, but I do think that like one of the most important things is engaging in discourse and debate in such a way that just like people can just sit and just absorb and understand. So I think it's the best thing folks can do.
Okay.
You know?
Hey, I mean, that's why I run this show. I bring people on of all walks of life, everyone, this, that, and the third. I want everybody to come up here and let's hash this shit out. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about. And thank you for giving me the time of day to even discuss this, because you didn't have to, you know, and I wouldn't have faulted you if you didn't want to.
Yeah.
But so with that said, like I said, the floor is to the audience. If anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask. So let me respond to some messages here myself. But yeah, I'll wait for some questions to pop up.
Come on, let's let that go.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. From Vanny Wombat. Rico, you said you can't understand what you haven't experienced, and my question is, can you understand what it feels like? I didn't say you can't understand what you haven't experienced. In fact, I did. I said with regards to like wheelchair bound people, I can't understand what that's like because I haven't lost my ability to walk and move around and such. So it's like you, in that sense, you can't understand something you personally have not experienced. Like if I've been stabbed, someone who's never been stabbed is not going to know what that pain feels like. They can understand basically like the medical understanding of it, like this is what happens when you get stabbed, like your skin breaks, muscles tear, blah blah blah. But the feeling itself, if you've never been stabbed, you won't understand. Oh, she said you can understand what you haven't experienced. Yes, you can understand it. You can understand it from like an academic, clinical, or from an objective standpoint. But
I can also say that I will go a little bit further. You can understand what pain feels like. You may not understand like how nuanced do you get. Do you understand how it is to feel cut from like a cooking knife and you cut your hand, or can you understand a laceration from a actual, you know, assault knife or some shit like that? You can understand. You can understand how it feels to have shit cut. What if you weren't cut by a knife? What if you were cut by a table saw or shit like that? Like, you can understand.
But there's a difference between understanding and like a mental sense versus like physical, of course. You know what I mean? Like that's I hope that answers your question. Like I can understand how hard it is and what's going on with wheelchair bound people, but I don't understand how it feels because I'm not that's never happened to me. I'm not disabled.
Yeah, I mean, and even like to kind of reinforce that, like I know what a period is. I know what a menstrual cycle is, but I don't know the intricate nuance of getting a giant blood clot out of nowhere that leads to cramps that lead to calling out of work.
I mean, like, LeBron James can know what bad cramps feel like. No. I will say this. The exact pain. No, but you can definitely understand how uncomfortable you can actually feel with even with guys, hormones raging, with guys with how it feels to uh, have to have abdominal cramps and abdominal pain. Like, this shit is like, it's not fucking comfortable. And even though I may not understand the exact pain that you feeling, but I know how abdominal pains and cramps, and I don't just mean like, oh, I did a crunch and like now it's like, no, like I'm having shit from like seriously being ill type shit. And it's not to lessen what somebody else may experience, but it's to understand how fucking pain works. Well, let's go.
I don't know what that is. I don't. I'm only in proximity to that. I don't know the understanding of just like wait, like when it comes to the menstrual cycle, of oh, I'm just bleeding. I've thought I'm just bleeding, and I can't come into work, and I can't do X or Y things, and I can read about that. Like as somebody who has a family of a lot of girls and women, like I can understand why that's an uncomfortable feeling, but I'm never going to experience that directly. It's impossible. So my experience with that is only going to be through proximity. Uh-oh.
He froze. His brain reset.
Uh-oh.
He had to reset his brain from all the stupidity of the 2-hour conversation.
Something happened.
He had to reset his brain from the 2-hour conversation with this dumb fuck right here.
Oh, let me just DMs.
Oh god. Oh god, that's awesome.
You can. Oh wait, so then does that mean? There we go.
Ah, fuck me. I hate having Spectrum. Oh, I hate having Spectrum so much. Absolute fucking garbage. All right,
Yeah, I can still see you now, but
yeah, I'm back. But fuck, man, Spectrum. Like, heads up, everybody. All these internet service providers suck, but Spectrum, fucking the fucking worst.
that's interesting. That like even though you were the host, it was able to drop out and still maintain the live. I've never seen that before.
That's why I fucking love StreamYard, because I knew the stream would keep going.
Huh.
StreamYard,
Cool.
the StreamYard is awesome. That's what it does. It doesn't. It's not. It just keeps going.
That's what's up. That I did not know.
Oh yeah. But other than that, so I didn't hear anything you were just saying, but the audience did, which is great. So that means everybody heard you. It's yeah. That's good. Let's see if we have any other questions.
It's about to wrap up.
Does the mental sense you gain from experience bar entry from forming solutions to the problems? I would think no. You don't have to be stabbed to understand how to treat a stab wound. You know what I mean? You can learn. You just knowing, just mentally knowing about a problem and how the problem works, functions, the context, nuance, this, that, and the third is all you need to be able to come up with a solution to the problem. You don't have to physically experience the problem to understand the problem and know how to solve it.
Right, but then like I'd piggyback on that too to say that like I'll just use just since we're talking about the femoids, in New Jersey for a black mother.
Did he just say the femoids? Did he just say the femoids? Fuck, you can just tell he doesn't have a girlfriend.
They're 7 times more likely than their white counterparts to have some type of maternity-related complication. So if I'm a doctor who knows that this exists, I need to take black women who enter into my profession seriously. So if a woman has a child, if a black woman has a child, and they come back saying something doesn't feel right about me, that should be met with attention and care. And time again, we see that that's not the case. And while in New Jersey,
I caught this one. Let me give you my solution. Let him finish. Let him finish.
it's a very special circumstance, but this is not a unique experience for black women in the United States. An Olympic athlete just died in childbirth a couple of weeks ago. We almost lost Serena Williams. Like this is a universal experience. And why is that? It is people within institutions not validating their pain when they are engaging with their life. And that's an important thing. It's important knowing that exists. And when somebody comes to you as a member of that group with that issue, if you know the lineage of that, you have to take it seriously.
History. Just say history. So here's my thing. I'm going to actually be very like maybe this is just me. Maybe if we should treat all women with the same fucking care and cautiousness, not just extra care for black women, because having a baby is a fucking life-threatening thing in the USA, not just for black women, but for white women, for Hispanic women. Like, maybe we should just treat people who are pregnant with a amount of care to say, like, every fucking ache and every fucking pain and every this feels weird. Maybe we should actually treat those people with, like, oh shit, this can be an emergency, because it can be. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far in the wrong direction to think like, yeah, we shouldn't dismiss anybody's motherfucking uncomfortability when they're carrying another person. Um, yeah, no, maybe not. No. But let's go.
To go. See any other questions? Oh,
Is my question in here?
let's see. Why do people think no, that's not the question. Does anybody else? Because I will wrap up in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and look, like it's not about like
the leftist. What happened to Serena? Is that a question?
Hold on, let me see something. I wonder. Can I get to? I mean, like, I wonder if I can get Joe Louis to talk, or would he be like,
"Come to Jersey City." That's all I got to say.
I love that G-Man soundboard. All right, let's go. My fault.
I don't know who Serena is.
Oh, Serena almost died in childbirth. Oh, Serena Williams.
Oh, Serena Williams. Good to go.
Yeah, one of the greatest athletes of all time almost died from maternity complications. Like that.
Good to go.
America.
I mean, like, that pushes my point more than anything, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, like, again, like, it doesn't matter how rich you are. Like, there are certain things. There's certain things connected.
On that note, I want to.
that would just be because childbirth. Like, that's still a dangerous activity. Oh my god, fuck. Okay.
You know what? I will go ahead and wrap up here. I'll talk to you on a little bit before I go to give them a heads up on the next show's coming.
Mhm.
But thank you for coming, brother. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, so it's over. It's finally over. I survived with more brain cells than I thought I would. Purple, peanut butter, yellow. What tastes like copper? Yeah, this was a treat. This was a treat. And what I'm gonna do is take part one and put part two. I'm gonna just take both of them and actually put them together. Thank you guys for suffering through me. Thank you for everybody who supported the stream. If you haven't done so, like, share, and subscribe, and all that other good shit. I am envious, not jealous, but envious of the type of talent and not type of talent, but the type of caliber of people that Rico has been coming to speak with. Like, I wish I had employment where I can actually have a little bit more free time. I wish I can actually work from home again. But still, definitely, he's scheduling it. He's putting it together what he needs to do. Let's see. I know for a while his channel was at a certain amount. Now it looks as if Social Blade. If I can bring up Social Blade. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's been actually growing at a very consistent rate recently, and like this is fucking awesome. Let's go back to him. It's fucking awesome. In the last 30 days, 140 new subscribers, and that shit is just going up and up and up and up and up. And you know what? Like, it's fucking awesome to see somebody the rise in the channel, and it's just like awesome. So yeah, no, like, um, great, great dog. And like I said, and I know you were in the chat earlier. I don't know if you're still there, but like, just the as far as critiques go, I would say like to me, it's you're cordial, but I'm a ornery old bastard, so that may not be a real critique, which you can take much from. But no, it was a great conversation, and I really liked the way you kept bringing it back. I really enjoyed the way you kept bringing it back to the conversation to focus on it, and like you was a dog with a bone. I fucking I appreciate that. Me, I would have eviscerated the shit out of him, and I would have called him on a lot of his bullshit. But that's just me. And dude, like, keep it up. I've been watching other talks that you had. A lot. Some of them weren't as contentious as this. I know I'm gonna watch the. I may not do it on stream, but I know I'm gonna watch the conversation with counterpoints. I heard that was interesting. But yeah, no. Um, Great on keeping the composure. Um, I wish you would have got super chats for that to at least buy that half a pack of cigarettes that you went through that whole conversation. But yeah, no. And yeah, as far as Joe Lewis, I would love to have a conversation with him. It wouldn't be as cordial as that was. As far as everything else, guys, yeah, like, share, subscribe. Um, yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Rico's channel, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. And I am out. Okay, we're going to just cut that segment here. And of course, we're going to end it as we always do at this particular time. Remember, touch titties, always with consent. And be the person you want to be. Want to be around, not just who you want to be like. All right, peace.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
Yeah, they're probably afraid of that because then people don't hate each other, then people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other, they find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people.
Greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too, that some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism, is to promote racism, you know, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, you know, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right. Absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, you know. But and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but.
Now, all right, you and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe
they go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, you know. It just gets on you and it starts
the system
eating.
levels them.
Pretty soon it's all gone.
Is that what a cesspool sounds like?